Blitzkrieg 1965. Why did this game matter so much? We're going to take a look at that here today on Legendary Tactics. So Blitzkrieg came out in 1965, which at the time of filming this is over 60 years ago. And it has been considered to be a seminal game for many reasons, which I'm going to touch upon here. So first of all, what is the game about? Essentially, it's about two nations. You have Big Blue and Great Red. Just checking. For fans of the game, I don't want you to get too mad at me. I know it's Big Red and Great Blue, who are two fictional nations who are fighting it out in a grand strategic fashion on a giant map board. And the game itself has sort of zones of control, various different units, which was unique at the time. So you have armor and infantry and airborne and so forth, air forces and naval units, all in the same game. According to the 1975 rules, the way you win is either by eliminating the other side completely while you still have 14 units left yourself, being adjacent to or occupying all of the opponent's cities for 2 consecutive turns, or if you occupy 35 of your opponent's cities by the end of the 15th turn. If there hasn't been a decision by the end of turn 15, it's considered a stalemate, and the winner is just whoever lost the least amount of units. So what made this game unique at the time is this is a completely fictional conflict. Most games up to this point, certainly the commercially available ones, were always based on some form of historical battle. While it does have a kind of a Cold War, World War II feel to it, it is completely made up. The maps are completely made up, and that's what made it so intriguing. So it integrated a bunch of old and new mechanisms. The old ones being, things like hexes and counters and zones of control and so forth, combat strengths and battle odds on a combat results table. But it also tried to innovate, and it did so by incorporating all the different aspects of strategic warfare. So having naval units and air units, airborne infantry, and various things like that. What worked really well for these games is it offered a grand scale strategic experience with different types of units, as I mentioned earlier, which really added a lot of variation and intrigue to the gameplay, especially back in 1965. It's also a very malleable rule system, even to the point where SPI under Jim Dunnigan put out a Blitzkrieg module system which had 18 new modules, which could be integrated as much or as little as you liked. But it added depth, it added minor nations, the rules for how minor countries would act, navies, guerrillas, and a bunch of other things. Now, some of the challenges were that under the original 1965 rules, because the two nations are essentially equally balanced, which from a gameplay perspective you might argue is a great thing, the problem is that a lot of times the game would devolve into a kind of a stalemate. In fact, early on they would jokingly call this game Sitzkrieg, where essentially you had these great battle lines, great defensive lines set up, almost like World War I, where no one could break through in any real way. The 1975 rules look to address this, and in both cases, they say the game really shines if both players decide to play aggressively. And the 1975 rules were designed with that in mind to try and encourage that type of play. So why did this game matter so much? Well, in the grand scheme of things, this game is considered to be one of the first monster war games, which led to much larger games with 1,000+ counters and so forth that tended to dominate in the 70s and early 80s. While some people might argue that's a bad thing, it showed the ability of board games to scale up and recreate battles and conflict and so forth on a grand scale at a high level of detail. And it kind of opened up a world of possibilities as to what people could do with war games and board games in general. This game, with its large map board and 400 counters, was so influential on the thinking at the time. So even though the gameplay is dated now by today's standards, it still is a seminal game that is worth checking out just to see what the state of the art was back in 1965. And we can look back now over the last 60 years, see how the hobbies evolved, the influence and inspiration that games like this provided to designers at the time and over the last 60 years. So this is a game that you're going to want to check out if you can. It was tremendously popular back in the day. It influenced a ton of people. It's almost like one of those albums or those artists in music that just had an influence that was far beyond the sum of its parts. In the hobby of wargaming and board gaming in general, Blitzkrieg matters. Play this one if you can. This is Legendary Tactics.